If you go to good airsoft games, chances are they have a medic system. And if you go to really good airsoft games, that medic system is probably using the Milsim West tourniquet. So today I want to talk about how to effectively put one of these on your kit, because I see a lot of players where it's an afterthought for something that gets you back into the game, and there's ways that you can optimize it on your kit so that you can get back into the fight faster. But what's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane. I've been playing Airsoft for 15 years, and in that time, the Milsim West tourniquet has been one of the best advancements in serious Airsoft. Before this, it was, putting your hand on somebody for 30 seconds to get them back in. It was using a big long thing of an ace bandage, which was just, hard to use and wasn't cool. This is just so much better, and I'm glad to see that more event promoters are using it outside of Milsim West. The issue that I run into with players when I go to medic them is they're always kind of set up in awkward ways, or they're set up in ways that just aren't going to be great for how we use them in Airsoft. A lot of people are taking inspiration from how you'd see it in the real world, but I think this is a classic example of where something that works for real operators doesn't work for us as BB LARPers. And the reason why I say that is because for your medic system, using these tourniquets, you need it to be two things. You need it to be accessible, and you need it to be repeatable. And that second part is really what you don't see in the real world. The way that people are gonna put their tourniquets on, if you're applying a real tourniquet to somebody, if they've reached that stage, you're not taking it off. However, in Airsoft, we take these off all the time for our medic systems. So you need to put this on your kit in a way that is not only easy to access, which is the same with the real world, but it needs to be repeatable, which isn't really how it is in the real world. So let's talk about how I put this on my kit to give you some inspiration. I like to carry two on my person. That covers me for pretty much any Airsoft game that I'm going to go to that has a medic system where you get hit once, you call hit, somebody medics you, you can get hit again, get medicked a second time, and then after that you have to go to your hard respawn. I like to carry two, and even if I'm at a game that carries one, or that only allows one respawn, well, I'm just going to follow the rules and not put on that second tourniquet, but I like having it accessible, and I put them in two primary places on my gear for no matter what's happening. So the first one is the tried and true classic. I'm going to put it on the shoulder pocket of my uniform, and I like to put it on my left arm because I am a right-handed shooter. That way it's not, like my stock isn't in the way, especially if I'm running like a machine gun or something that's a little bit more wieldy than a standard rifle. I like just having it here. This is my free arm that is available, and this is, free, assuming that you already own the tourniquet. All you're gonna do is put it on your uniform, and then it just kind of hangs down out of the pocket. This is great because they're easy to find. They can be reset really easy by opening this, but there are some disadvantages, which is why I don't put both of them on my uniform. The main one being that if you have to start layering. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're at a longer game like a Milsim West, or another 24-hour, 12-hour, whatever it may be game, and it starts raining. You're gonna reach for your Gore-Tex and put that on over the uniform. And then your tourniquet is underneath your rain layer. So, not only is that just cumbersome and hard to get to, but when it's another person trying to get to it, because you can't medic yourself, they've got to like reach down in there and grab it. And it's, once you have a bunch of stuff in that pocket, it's hard to get it out. That's why I don't keep everything in there. I will keep one on there, but I'd really like to also make sure that I have one on my chest rig or on my plate carrier. And the place that I like to do that, knowing that on my left side I have one on the uniform, is I usually put it on my inner right side. Because again, as a right-handed person, that isn't where I'm going to be grabbing my mags or going to my radio, my frags, whatever it may be. So it's an area that I don't really need to get to a whole lot, and it's still accessible for when somebody else comes to medic me. So on my Warrior Assault Systems DCS, you can see I have my tourniquet pouch from Beez Combat System. Beez is a B-E-E-Z Combat Systems, and this is a closed top pouch. I like to do closed tops for these because Milsim West tourniquets are smaller than real tourniquets because they don't have the windlass or anything like that, so they sit pretty flat. What happens is if you try to use something like the Blue Force Gear tourniquet holder, which is just two elastic straps, or if you use a closed top tourniquet holder that is, kind of open on the sides, like for example, my Tactical Tailor one right here that I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, is just kind of wide open. on the bottom is they can fall out, and you don't want that when this is what you need to get back in the game. So the Bees Combat Systems is my favorite by far. I like the Tactical Tailor one as well. My recommendation is if you have a tourniquet holder that is a little bit more open, use some sort of elastic, like a rubber band. This is like an elastic from, I think, like some packaging for something that is nothing to do with tactical gear or airsoft to help restrict it and keep it closer to your body. But in general, I like to put my tourniquets in some sort of closed top pouch so that I can't lose them, and having a dedicated pouch like this one, well, you can easily find where it is. And then by having it on the gear, well, I'm always gonna have the gear with me. Like, you know, if I'm at a Milsim West, for instance, and I gotta take my plate carrier off because it's been 20 hours, well, I have the uniform on. If I, if I just take my uniform top off and wear a t-shirt, I probably have the body armor on. So there's always gonna be at least one tourniquet on my person. And again, there's somewhere that is accessible for other people, and when they're used, I can easily put them back in there. So that's my greatest piece of advice for this, is setting this up on your kit, is find somewhere that you don't need to access a whole lot, but it is accessible when you're laying on the ground, because faking out your death is the cool way to die in Airsoft, so that other people can get it and that you can easily put it back. My rule of thumb is, the way that I can tell if I'm doing it right, this is just true with most of my gear in Airsoft, I have to be able to do it without looking down. So I can just be looking straight, I can easily take a tourniquet, put it back in that pouch, put it in the, the shoulder pocket as well. That's how I know that it's repeatable. And this is gonna help you out, because nothing's worse than being in a game and you either lose a tourniquet, which again sucks because that's how you get back in the game, or you get medicked and you gotta get back in the fight and you're fumbling and you're trying to get it in there, or you just stuff it in your pocket because you know that's not gonna work. It's a huge pain. Set yourself up for success with a little bit of smart gear preparation early on. And I know some people are gonna say, Lane, but what if I like ace bandages? What if that's my preferred way of doing medic systems in games? You've been talking about the Milsim West tourniquet all video. What about me? Well, my first thing that I would say is it's okay to be wrong sometimes. But jokes aside, if you really want to use the ace bandage as your preferred medic system, I find that they work really well in frag pouches, because again, like, you can ball them up as the ace bandage. If you have the time to wrap them up, all 3 feet of it, because it's not as good as using the Milsim West tourniquet. I sorry to keep bragging. You can do that. If you just gotta ball it up quickly, it's still gonna fit in there. I feel like frag pouches work pretty well for that. And again, it's something that's just commercially available. You can get surplus ones for like 10 bucks. So that'd be my advice for doing this with ace bandages. But really, I think that the best medic system out there is the Milsim West tourniquet. I get at casual games they don't require these, but if you're going to a longer format game like Milsim West, the namesake of these, or at my event company, Gun Gamers Productions, these are what I recommend. Not only are they realistic action, which is super cool, but also, they're just, I find them to be better. They're easier to deploy, and I just find that it leads to a better and more immersive airsoft experience. But again, this is just my recommendations. This is how I have my kit set up, and I find that it works pretty well. Having one on the arm and one on the plate carrier or the chest rig equivalency, it makes it easier for other people to find them, and I'm able to get back into the game pretty quickly. They are accessible and repeatable, which again is those big things that I'm looking for. But if you have different advice, make sure to let me know. Do you like to put these on your dangler? I typically don't prefer those because those elastic pieces can be kind of hard to reset without this just flying around. Again, I don't like rubber bands or the little Blue Force things because they're not repeatable, and stuff that's sized for real tourniquets, if it's not super enclosed, sometimes these can just like whoop, disappear right out of them. But make sure to let me know how you set up your tourniquets and your medic systems on your airsoft kit with a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing, and who knows, maybe I'll get inspired to try it as well. I do want to say a quick thank you though to all of our channel members for making this video and everything else on the BB Warrior possible. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to continue to nerd out and make videos like these. If you want to become a channel member yourself, there's some really great perks. Like, not only do you get to watch videos early, you also get a guaranteed spot in our Roast My Kit series, exclusive access on the BB Warrior Discord server, and even more. So if you want to learn about that, there is information down in the description below, as well as learning about our event company, Gun Gamers Productions. Information for all of that stuff is in the description below, including our website where you can buy Milsim West tourniquets. But my name is Lane. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.